Going on a potato brand trip was not in my playing cards for my dietitian career as far as I thought. But I'm so glad that it was. I recently went to Denver, Colorado for a trip with Potatoes USA. And in this video, I want to document the trip as a little diary entry. We ate so many potato goodies. I had potatoes in ways that I did not know was possible. And I just don't want to forget that trip. So I am going to recap it all for you guys. A little bit for me also to be able to watch back if I'm ever feeling like I missed my time in Tatertown. Quick disclaimer, this trip and the event was sponsored, but this video is not. I am just making this for fun. Honestly, I just want to recap the food that we ate in this trip because nearly everything that we ate was potato based. And like I said, I had no idea you could like make potatoes in so many different ways. So that said, our first meal as a group of dietitians was at a place called Molotov Kitchen and Cocktails. We had a tasting menu and we basically had the whole place to ourselves, and with every course the chef would come out and break down exactly what we were eating, where the ingredients came from. It was definitely way bougier than what I'm used to. The very first thing we were served was this shot of like beet vodka, I think it was, because you know, vodka is made from potatoes. So naturally we had to enjoy some of that. I'm not usually a big vodka person, but this was good. I liked it. I think I would have enjoyed it more like in a cocktail. I don't love doing shots, but duty calls. Our first course was an amuse. Is that what it's called? Kind of like an appetizer. And just listen to what was in this. It was a warm potato tart with caramelized spring onions, kielbasa, and mustard ice cream. The mustard ice cream had me shaking in my boots. It was so delicious. After our shot of beet vodka, we also ordered cocktails and mocktails. I got this like citrusy mocktail. It was really, really good. I forget what it was called, but a bunch of us got it and it was a delight. Our first official course was a cold potato borscht with egg yolk jam, pistachio relish, sauerkraut powder, and crispy leeks. I'm telling you guys, these are things that I would never think to put together. This was kind of like a cold soup with like all kinds of crunchy bits on top. It was texturally so unexpected in a good way. I had never had anything like this before in my life. They also brought out some more cocktails. I'm pretty sure these also had vodka in them. Our second course was daruni with green garlic and a matzo potato pancake, gravlax, smoked salmon roe, and dill hollandaise. I am probably butchering the pronunciation of all this. It was all, again, very foreign to me, and that made it so fun. I love trying new foods. The smoked salmon roe on this, though, was the best part. At this point, we're all starting to get pretty full, but the next course was on its way. Up next was a potato pelmeni, red cabbage infused dough, stuffed with potato, burnt summer veggie broth, and turmeric smetana. Once again, I couldn't really tell you what I was eating. My Midwestern palate picked up that it was like a pasta type dish, kind of like a tortellini, and it had like a really flavorful, I don't want to use the word mashed potato and like diminish what was actually in there, but it was kind of like that texture, kind of like a pierogi in a way, but more like a pasta. Kind of like if pasta and pierogi had a baby. Our final savory course was a variation of fish and chips, although this was unlike any other fish and chips I've ever had before. This dish was potato wrapped Icelandic cod with potato and chive mussolini, malt vinegar gastrique, and potato flake tempura batter. The cod was amazing. It was wrapped in the potatoes, and then it had this like really creamy sauce base that it was sitting on with sort of like a pesto-esque like drizzle over it. And then, ooh, lots of dill too, which I loved. But then dessert was the star of the show. Like I said, we were all just like so full, but then this dessert came out and we all completely inhaled it. Classic dietitian move. We always have room for dessert. This was a potato pampushki, which is a Ukrainian donut. It was stuffed with Meyer lemon curd and whipped potato mascarpone. Oh my gosh. It was like the most amazing, like lemon-filled donut, basically. There were like poppy seeds and it was like sitting on this bed of the mascarpone. Oh, we all walked out of there at a very slow pace because we were just so full. in the best way. A full belly is a happy belly. The next day was full of hands-on education, cooking demonstrations. So we were kind of just like snacking on potato dishes all day long. Around lunchtime, we got a cooking demonstration from Chef RJ Harvey, who's a dietitian. And what he did blew my mind. He made like a potato gnocchi, but he made it out of dehydrated potatoes. So he essentially like rehydrated them, added some other ingredients, threw in tons of veggies and other ways of flavoring, and made this delicious dish. It was amazing. Then we all got to do our own cooking. So we partnered up and we were competing to see who could make the most original and tasty potato dish. Being the overachievers that we are, my partner Lauren and I made 2 dishes, one sweet, one savory. We made some potato nachos. So we sliced potatoes up real thin as the base and just threw tons of toppings on there, cheese and beans and fresh veggies. And then the more surprising thing that we made was these potato truffles. I know, it sounds gross, but they were actually really good. They were texturally very soft and creamy. We made them with instant dehydrated potatoes, which they need more love. After the gnocchi and our truffles, I'm gonna be having dehy potatoes stocked in my pantry from here on out. We also got to taste test everyone else's dishes and it was a blast. It was like another little tasting menu for lunch, basically. Then we had yet another cooking demonstration from Chef Aurora, and she made cottage cheese toast, but on hash brown patties. So there was the hash brown patty, cottage cheese, and then this like little arugula salad type thing on top. See, this is why I love revisiting this, because I just remembered that I want to make this for breakfast. It's so good. After a few hours of rest, we made our way over to our fancy dinner reservations. We ate at a place called The Bindery in Denver, and once again, it was a tasting menu with multiple courses, all featuring the good old tater. Our appetizer was a dill potato latke with beet cured salmon, capers, horseradish, arugula, and lemon. The beet cured salmon blew my socks off. I was loving the amount of like beet flavored things we were eating over this short trip, and the amount of salmon. Salmon and potatoes just go so well together. Then our first official course was cacao nib pork belly with potato cracklin. The cacao being on the pork belly was so unexpectedly tasty. It wasn't super sweet. It was actually kind of like a bitter chocolate taste. I would not have thought of that. It was kind of like a really fancy version of chocolate covered bacon. At this point also we had drinks. I do not remember what was all in these, but they brought out these really pretty pink drinks with like a little dried citrus floating on there. It was adorable. I'm biased, but I think we all looked so adorable with our little pink drinks. Our next course consisted of snap peas, grilled potato, duck prosciutto, and pea tendril salad. I know I've said that everything was good, and it seems like I'm just saying that because it was a sponsored trip, but it really was all so good. Like just things I've never had before. Ooh, I especially love this next dish. It was goat cheese and mint potato raviolo with king asparagus. I love goat cheese. I love pasta. I love asparagus. This was one of the best of the night in my opinion. Then one of the other dietitians was rallying us up to get espresso martinis. I agreed on the condition that it was gonna be decaf because at this point it was like 9 p.m. and I did not need a shot of espresso in my system. A few of us did end up getting them. They had like a whole variety of different espresso martini options. And I had actually never had one before, so that was a fun new thing I tried also. And our final savory course, lamb chops with potato and caramelized onion. Again, at this point we were so full and they were bringing out these relatively big servings for a tasting menu. Like normally a tasting menu is, you know, like little tiny bites. They brought out 2 lamb chops on our plates. Not complaining, because it was delicious. I was just very surprised. And of course, the star of the show once again was dessert. We were served this potato orange coffee ice cream with Swedish chocolate cake. I am someone who absolutely loves orange and chocolate together, so this was so amazing. And that's a wrap on all the amazing, tasty, potato-y foods that I had in Denver. Thank you again to Potatoes USA for sponsoring that trip. It was one of those trips that I will likely never forget. And thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this food diary-esque video. You never really know what I'm gonna post about on here. It's probably a bit of a surprise every week what kind of video I'll be dropping. Thank you guys for always gassing me up and watching these videos. I'll see you next time for some other foodie dietitian type content. Bye guys.